Hi, it's Jared with LearnToWinTrading.com. We're going to review the market this morning for January 20th, 2009. First of all, I'm glad today happened because you'd know I was lying if I never showed you that I lost money trading. Well, today I had a negative day, and I'm glad it happened because I'm going to bring up two very important points about trading to remember. But first of all, let's go over my trades. The first one, I lost 1.25 points. Now, that's my stop loss. When I enter a trade, that's as much as I'm going to lose because it automatically takes me out at that point. The trade ran harder. I tried to get out before it ran that far. It ran a little bit harder and actually took me out at my full stop loss. My second trade, I should have made more on this, but the way that the trade moved, it sucked me back as I was moving my stop loss up, and so I only got 0.75 points where I was shooting for 2 points and could have easily got that in there. And then the last one, I lost half a point on a trade that, again, I should have won, but let me show you what I'm looking at here. Here's the chart for today. The market opened here, went down, went up, and made a stair-step signal right here. Now my first trade was a loss because my timing was a little bit off here. I entered on this red candle here, and it ran a little bit my way. I think I entered right around this line. It ran probably about a point my way, and then all of a sudden turned around on me in this green candle that shot all the way up here. And that's actually, it turned into quite a quick spike before it turned back down and actually ran the way I was expecting it to go. So had I just been a little bit better with my timing, that was a good trade to take. The frustrating part of it is in the Traders Club today, everyone else seemed to enter here, and a lot of people made a good 4 points on this trade. I just happened to lose on it, and that happens. You'd know I was lying to you if I never showed you that I lost. Like I said, no strategies 100%. But my second trade, this one went past me because I'd just taken a loss and I like to cool off a little bit. My second trade was right here, and of course you can see how quickly that ran. I entered, I think, about this candle around this line, and it ran, gosh, about 5-6 points or so. Well, it's hard, you can't really see this in a chart that's already happened, but what happens is these candles move up and down like this as they're making their way down, and because I had just taken a loss, I was following this trade fairly close with my stop loss, pulling it down as it went down, and secured some profit, and all of a sudden it was close to hitting my 2-point profit target, and then it jumped back and actually sucked me out where my stop loss had ended up being at 0.75 points. So, you know, I fell short of my profit target, and had I got my full 2 points, I would have recovered all my loss on the first trade, but that's okay. Then my second trade was right here, and just this one was more out of pure frustration. Because what happened is I entered the trade, it was looking good. I looked at the 200 tick chart, and it looked like it was possibly going to reverse on me, and because I was already jumpy because I had lost on my first trade, I decided to get out and cut my loss short. Well, right after I got out, I might have been in on this candle because it went down and then started sucking back. Right when I got out, it turned and ran another 4 or 5 points. So, you know, that's kind of how it went down today. But this is what I wanted to talk to you about. The two main things that I think are so important to remember about trading is, number one, you have to think in probabilities. Now, what I mean by this, I don't know if you've ever heard of the book Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, but he addresses this point very clearly, that every single trade is basically independent and random. There are so many variables in the market happening to the price at a given moment that you really cannot predict which way that trade's going to go. Of course, you've got certain patterns and things that you can use that help give you an edge and repeat themselves, but the thing is, every trade is random. However, over a large enough sample size, if you have an edge in the market, you will come out on top. You will win more than you lose. That's what KISS system does is it gives you a set of rules and a set of patterns to look for. And when you see these patterns, you're obviously not going to win all of them. No strategy is perfect. But over a large enough sample size, you will win more than you lose. And unfortunately today I was down, but it doesn't bother me because I know, and I've had enough experience in my statistics that I know I will still come out on top. If you've seen my videos of last week, I came out with 75% on my money last week. So I know today is no big deal. Losing 10%, not a big deal at all. Second point I wanted to make. First, plan your trade, then trade your plan. This is key. This is kind of where I failed a little bit on my third trade, the one that I lost on. I had been a little bit flustered, and it's hard not to get a little bit flustered when you lose on your first trade. You got to keep the objective perspective. And what I did was I entered this trade, but I didn't exactly play it the way that I had planned. The larger picture of this, however, is that when you start trading, it is so important to develop a set of rules that you are going to use and guidelines. A good trader is a disciplined trader, and you have to trade by those rules. Now, the reason, of course, if you look at the market, there were still huge opportunities that I could have made money. Of course, I missed this first one because I was a little bit flustered, but I came in. I could have entered here again. There were some other opportunities later in the day. This got a little bit shadowy, but the point I'm trying to make is I've set a rule for myself that I will do no more than 3 live trades a day. When I'm done with 3 live trades, I'm done. I don't come back and try to make more. I don't play off of greed and try to have a killer day. I've found that if I set these rules, it keeps me in track. If I don't have a set of rules, then oftentimes when I was learning and I was practicing trading, I found myself going into a downward spiral of losing and letting my emotions take over instead of being objective in the market. The other rule that I play by is if I have 2 losses in one day, I'm done. I stop right there. I know that the next day I can make it back. And so that's exactly what happened for me today. I had 2 losses and I had done 3 trades, and even though I was only down 1 point, that's really not terrible at all. I said I'm done today and I'll make it back tomorrow. That's all I have for today. So until next time, have a wonderful day.